AllBall TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.
Yeah. Fabian making the connect. Fabian perspective. We'll get to a little bit of Knicks rehab later. See if we can rehash some things and go over the rigmarole of the off season. AllBall TV reaction 7 a.m. We are starting again. Good morning to y'all. Hopefully you're on your way to work with beautiful thoughts, beautiful things in your mind. Get on your grind. Yeah, we gotta lead off with some more bochinche. Some of it is just a part of the whole conversation. Good to Stephen A. Smith outdid himself again with Monica McNutt. Shannon Sharp entered the mix. Monica went on Shannon's show. That was dope. What else happened last night? You could throw it in the comments, whatever you want to talk about, man. We'll wait till some people get in the building. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning. Very nice outside here in New York City. June 4th. As I sip a little water. Nothing else. Nothing else. I promise. And we know. Let's get into it. Oh, I'm seeing Bob Costas makes it plain on why Alyssa Thomas' recent flagrant foul on Angel Reese didn't spark. Oh, I like this. Bob Costas is somebody that has been respected since I was a kid. Man, he was a journalist. He used to get on people's nerves too. There's a Bob Costas, Vince McMahon interview. I might have to pull that up for us to watch and laugh at because Vince McMahon was going crazy. He was roided up going on Bob Costas. Speaking of Bob Costas, but he chimed in. Gregory Lee, what's going on, my brother? Told you 7 a.m. Papa, we in the building. How's it going for you guys out there, man? 7 a.m. East Coast, 4 a.m. West Side time. Blessing to AllBall TV. Blessing to you, my brother. Blessing to everybody out there who's listening, who catches this on the replay. Shout out to Dom Dropper. Shout out to Flea. Shout out to AllBall. Shout out to the family, AllBall TV family. Like, share, comment, subscribe. You heard the intro. Hit that like button. Hit the notifications. Hit the bell. A lot of our family here, AllBall TV family, yesterday, they were mentioning, hey, we haven't gotten any notifications. Hit that notification button for all notifications. That way you get to see when we come on, all the clips that we clip up. Let's get right into it. Oh, also, if you're on a PC, if you're on a computer, it's the only way to join the YouTube membership, the AllBall TV family membership. You can't do it from the phone for whatever reason, unless you have unless you go log in through the desktop version on your phone, on Safari or Google Chrome, wherever. James, what's going on? Good morning to you as well. Keep doing your thing, bro. Salute to you as well. Tuco Salamanca. I gotta pronounce all the dope names. That name is crazy. Tuco Salamanca. It's amazing. Let's dip right into it, though, man. You saw yesterday's episode. Stephen A. Smith going crazy on First Take. Him and Monica McNutt were going back and forth about Caitlyn Clark being treated differently than every other rookie ever in NBA history or just sports history. Monica McNutt. We know her through MSG, the MSG network, just following the Knicks. She does the Knicks radio broadcast. I forgot the gentleman's name. That's how much I know who she is, because she is more visible on TV and everything. She's always working out on Instagram. Her personality is just vibrant personality. And Stephen A. Smith, he just, he runs First Take. He's an executive producer. He's never shy about that, right? He's always just misstepping way too often. And last night, he didn't disappoint. He didn't disappoint. Shout out to what's my guy? BSO. He played the full clip, because online, on Twitter, they'll give you a clip of something, which is what Stephen A was complaining about with Draymond Green. Speaking of Draymond Green, I'll get into that's what Stephen A. Smith is of sports media, right? Stephen A. Smith is the Draymond Green of sports media. Just cheap shots. That's what he does. That's just how he goes about his career, especially his TV career. I'm not sure if he was this clumsy as a regular journalist and a writer, a beat writer, or whatever whatever his career was. But definitely on television, he's always been just loud. But there was a time, and there was a checks and balance with him, with Skip Bayless up there. They would go back and forth, and there was a check there. With Skip, also an accredited journalist, and he's messy too. But they at least is a back and forth, and they have to check each other, and they have to really mean what they say and back up what they say. He didn't have this much power at ESPN before, up until recently, and that what power does. Power just makes people drunk. So this is what Stephen A. Smith said last night, and I want to watch the whole video, or at least a 5-minute clip, and not a 1-minute clip, so he doesn't complain about that, because how he does. He's gonna complain about everything. It's Stephen A. Smith on his show, Stephen A. Smith Show on YouTube.
As it pertains to what Molly said, doing her job at that particular moment, naturally in television, got to get us to commercial break. Sometimes damn the commercial break. But that's a subject for another day. I'll deal.
No, not Alan Hahn, Gregory. Alan Hahn is on MSG with her. Monica McNutt does the radio, does Knicks radio, and I forgot. I'll look that up in the meanwhile while Stephen A. talks.
With that, here's the bigger issue. There's something that's going on, and a lot of people run from it, but I'm not, because I'm not scared of these subjects. Doesn't faze me at all. To address Monica McNutt's point, I found it very unfortunate that she would say that. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the executive producer of First Take. You ever heard of Monica McNutt? You have now, because she's on First Take a lot. Shanae Ogumake, absolutely wonderful, spectacular basketball analyst, etc., WNBA player in her own right. Ask her how it's been to be on First Take. How about Andrea Carter, who's a rising star in this business? How much do you think First Take helped that? What about Kimberly Martin? What about Molly Kiram herself? Now, I have sat back for years and taken a lot of shit from people. Some who don't know what the hell they're talking about. Some who act like they don't know just because they want to get at me. I could care less about people getting at me. I just want you to be accurate.
Already, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? She was saying you could have You could have been talking about this about the WNBA 3 years ago, meaning he said nothing, meaning he's talking about nothing. You could have been leading the first take with the WNBA, but you didn't. You're the executive producer. You're in charge of all this. You know what I'm saying? So someone like yourself, Electric, my question for Monica is simple. What was it to watch 3 years ago? That's her point. Like I don't watch the WNBA, bro, and I don't think I'm gonna start like that. Caitlyn Clark is the one that has us, the casual fans, pulling in to go watch her. And Stephen A. Smith is acting as if he's not one of us. That's the problem. He's quite casual when it comes to just a bunch of takes. You're on TV all day. When do you have time to really break this stuff down? Again, the real guys that do, they're not on television as much as he is. And then the crazy part is Monica McNutt is on TV maybe just as often. She's on a bunch of mediums, maybe just as often as Stephen A. Smith. To your point, Gregory Lee, I knew her from MSG before First Take. Right? We knew her from MSG before First Take, and she's doing Knicks radio. I can't get the gentleman she does the Knicks radio with, but it's on over here. It's on 98.7, if I'm not mistaken. That was the old, not WBLS. It was the old like R&B station. What was there to watch 3 years ago from the WNBA? It was a lot to watch. It was the same thing without Caitlyn Clark. She's a phenom. Everyone, what is there to? We want to state the obvious. She's a white girl. She had the Midwest behind her. It's the Eminem effect. Everything everybody's gonna say, right? She's a super duper star. That's what she is right now. Is she being hated on? 1,000%. 1,000%. Stephen A. Smith is defending what? He's saying you gotta. What Stephen A. Smith is arguing is you have to protect the golden goose and the person that really brings the most money to the company. See, because he's really referring to himself. That's what he's doing. That's the part you got to see through with this guy. I don't want to call him a narcissist and anything like that. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't know none of that. But I do know what he's saying. He speaks in these codes and riddles that doesn't make any sense to me. He told Kyrie Irving and Kawhi Leonard they should retire, but yet he believes in capitalism. These guys are that they have an opportunity in front of them, and they shouldn't take on the opportunity in the world of capitalism. What is this guy talking about? He doesn't have any real debates. He doesn't have any real points. He doesn't have time to think things through. He doesn't want to hear this, but there's no way he's as educated as Monica McNutt. Doesn't sound like it. When she uses those big words, it sounds way more fluid than what he does. He's trying to impress you. That's his problem. But he's winning. This is a great thing because it's more of an indication of, like Monica McNutt said, where the WNBA is. Like, finally, we're talking about it, but it did take Caitlyn Clark to talk about the WNBA. That should have been Stephen A. Smith's point. We're leading because it's Caitlyn Clark getting pushed on the floor. Of course it is. Yeah. She's a super duper star. And the question should be, should that be allowed anymore? Because she's the cash cow. And you could argue Michael Jordan and all that, but
and it is highly offensive to me when somebody implies or flat out states, like Monica McNutt did this morning, which was factually incorrect.
Monica McNutt used to be a teacher in Maryland. I didn't even know that. She just sounds smart. She doesn't sound like she's trying to impress me, man. She just sounds like she knows what she's talking about, and she does it naturally. There's no real show about it, but she's also a star.
I challenge anybody to find a show in sports television that discusses women issues, that discusses the WNBA or women's sports, that highlights and profiles female analysts more than First Take. It's been going on for years. One of my producers here is a guy by the name of Galen Gordon, who used to be a producer on First Take. He was one of the people who spearheaded highlighting diversity. You as an audience don't know this, but Monica McNutt does. The James Dunn and the David McKinnons of the world and others. These are black men overseeing First Take. My boss, the HNIC, as they say.
Yo. Why would he say that? What does the HNIC have to do with? All she said was she admitted it's a non-basketball play. This guy's sitting here for years. Stephen A. Smith has been sitting here for years while Draymond was kicking people in the groin, doing 360 Texas tornado punches, Darkwing ducking and jumping and stomping on people in the chest, just knocked his teammate out and said how nice of a guy, great of a guy Draymond Green is. Doesn't know much about the Kennedy Clark young lady. Clearly he doesn't. You know why? Because she's not there to go on First Take. She doesn't have a podcast. She doesn't have an algorithm up on YouTube. This guy's an opportunist, man. How are you gonna mention all these ladies and all these people that you put into power and take credit for? This is just crazy to me, man.
One of the executives, the top 3 executives at ESPN overseeing First Take is a black man by the name of Dave Roberts. We have black women. We have white women. Mina Combs, let me not forget to mention her. There's a female host on my show. Anybody trying to let go of Molly? Before her, it was Carrie Champion. Before Numbers Never Lie came along with Jamel Hill, she's on First Take. First Take has spearheaded diversity and equity. You have any idea how offensive it was for me to sit there and hear Monica McNutt say that about me?
What did she say? She's not talking about diversity of the rainbow on your show. She's talking about the diversity of the topic of women's sports on your show. That is all. Shout out to my nigga. He was saying that she can't tell, Monica McNutt can't tell Stephen A. Smith how to run his show. She can't. Because the hot topics are what run the show. The trending topics are what runs the show. So Stephen A. Smith should have just admitted that. The WNBA wasn't hot 3 years ago. How about that? Caitlyn Clark wasn't around 3 years ago. We know that. That's all he had to say. I'm a casual. That's all he had to say. This is a hot topic. This is a mainstream show. But he's so look at all his insecurities are just showing up. What a shame, man. This guy's a
when I'm the one who handpicked our roster on First Take.
I handpicked them.
Now, again, we're only talking about this incident. I love Monica McNutt. She's phenomenal. And she is a friend, and I'm a supporter, and I'm going to remain a supporter of hers. I just disagree with that one statement because I have to publicly defend the show. What she said is blatantly false. I'm not accusing her of lying.
What a loser.
I'm accusing her of not knowing because she's not a liar. She's an honorable person. She must not have known. The WNBA, could I have done more? Well, guess what, Monica McNutt? I could have done less.
What? I didn't even hear that part. Oh. What? What are you talking about? It clearly didn't even matter what you did for the WNBA. Nothing is compared to Caitlyn Clark for the WNBA and women's basketball right now. Nothing compares to that. Nothing. What is he like? This is insane. Should be like this is and hopefully AllBall is wrong, and we don't see Monica McNutt come on First Take today, and he starts getting scared because she's gaining. Remember, once you gain confidence like that, and you have a team behind you like that, we've seen it happen with Kendrick Perkins, and it happened with Max Kellerman. People keep mentioning Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman was not built to be on this show. He doesn't have. That's not his skill set. It's not his skill set. It's not that he's not smart. Max Kellerman, like, I know people that know Max Kellerman. Like Max Kellerman, they say, all of them say like he's a genius. He knows a lot of stuff about a bunch of stuff. Look at me stumbling over my words. But he wasn't built to be on First Take. So when you have someone like Monica McNutt who can challenge you, and then again, the problem will always be with these shows is that it's predicated on going on Twitter and going on social media. So you're totally attached to your ego. You're only listening to the comments because what do you really care? How do you really care about what people think right now when that show had to have been flaming? Today's episode, going into it, I don't know how. I think they sell the advertising slot in like 3 months prior, but he better be thanking her at the end of all these conversations. She helped raise all that. This was old school First Take, what it was built on, having these debates, and she's formidable competition. They don't want, people pointing to Jalen Rose, they don't want Jalen Rose to go up there, a Jalen Rose type to go up there and just totally ether him because, again, it's wrestling. You need the antagonist, you need the good guy, you need the back and forth, but they got to survive for tomorrow also. You can't just kill Stephen A. Smith off because it's not going to be, he's a cash cow at the end of the day. Look, we're still talking about him. But that was crazy. I could have done less. Oh, shit. Wait till my wife walks in the kitchen right now. I'm going to say, I could have done less. And then you're going to see this whole table fall over. I'm like, oh, there goes the AllBall TV show for the day. Yup. I could have done more. Get up with my shades all messed up. See what else he says. We can finish.
Who's done more?
That's a lunatic.
Hell, a legitimate argument could be made that the WNBA wasn't doing it for themselves. For themselves.
The WNBA wasn't even doing it for themselves. I wouldn't say the WNBA. I think they were holding themselves down. I remember when Draymond Green came out and just said something crazy, and the ladies came out and were going at him. And I felt like it was dope for Draymond to say anything crazy at that time, because even if you're wrong, we get to learn. Like when they were hating on Caitlyn Clark when she came out, and the WNBA season started, and you see all the backlash, and I'm like, yo, y'all better stop hating on her. She's she's the new star. She's bringing this to another realm. But now with these arguments taking place, what the WNBA players are arguing is, okay, but this is how we play. Like, this is, she's a spotlight. So now that she's up here, everyone gets to see this. Everyone is there are more eyeballs on this. There's more reactions on this. It's going to be way more intense because she is up here. When we were down here in terms of popularity, nobody was really watching all this, but it was still going on. So they say. Right? But I believe it. It's intense. They're not scared to get physical. Because for them to announce this like every day, I ain't scared to get physical with you. I ain't scared to get competitive with you. They're just blatantly announcing it. Come on, man. To me, it's commendable. I love it. Here's some of these comments. Power enhances who you truly are, just like money. Yeah, it's that. Monica McNutt does MSG, is a Knicks team reporter. Yeah, she's also on the radio though. She's on the radio. I just saw she does the WNBA, ESPN stuff. She's on. She might be on these mediums just as much as Stephen A. Smith is my point. And yes, she has time to break down. You can't. You could. I disagree a lot with her about the Knicks. I disagree with her, right? But I've always liked her because she. And you know, I'm not. I don't even find her that attractive. I'm saying I just think, and she works out and everything on camera. But it's not about that. It's about I would love to sit down and talk about basketball with her because I can just see it being a. I don't like agreeing with everybody. I want to challenge myself. I want to learn. I want to see maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but let's see what's going on in this middle because there's no way I know it all. Your point of view provides light, and I think she can provide that. But this guy, he's full of himself, man. I knew Monica from. And by the way, let this be a lesson. This is people like this. While you guys are on your way to work, people like this guy, Stephen A. Smith, right? He's such a jerk because they telling themselves anybody who says I made you. You heard of Monica McNutt? Yeah, you could thank me, basically, right? Anybody who talks like that, you got to pay attention to people when they speak in those ways. Listen to how they talk about other people because they're talking about you the same way to them and to everybody else. Listen to how they talk about their own business because they talk about your business in the same way. Be very careful who you align yourself with. He would be a last resort type of person to ever do business with, to ever have to go to work with. Because you gotta I gotta deal with this egomaniac who wants all the credit for what? But we're all human. We all have our flaws, right? Just sucks, man. That's just not saying he's a terrible human being because remember, he said he handpicked these people to come on First Take, and he handpicked her. I was so glad that he did. And it's a great thing, but he's we have AllBall TV right here. You see who the cast members are, the usual cast members are. We're going to become a bigger network, and once that happens, we're going to have people who don't necessarily have say so on the channel. But to me, you're going to always have say so with dialogue. I would never want to treat you like I know better than you because this is my channel. What the hell are you talking about? Then what's the point of this conversation? That's not what people are tuning in for. They're tuning in because they like your point of view, but they also want to see it challenged. I think, especially in long form, it's way easier to do all this, by the way. Which I saw Shannon Sharp and Monica McNutt. Actually, Monica McNutt appeared on Shannon Sharp's show while Stephen A. Smith was doing this. We might play. I don't think I want to play that because it wasn't much of nothing. But they were just Shannon was a lot calmer, and he admitted it's when you're on First Take, it's a show, so it's you got but so much time. And she doubled down on what she said. She also said there were some things I didn't know about, but still I stand by what I say. Like you could have, it's just different. You could have done more. This guy's getting too confident. He's been like that though. I don't want to listen. And by the way, I don't want to take that. He didn't get here by not being him. You know what I'm saying? Like give him his props. He's a millionaire, very powerful at Disney, ESPN. He can call up forgot who run Bob Iger. Apparently he has Bob Iger on speed dial. Come on now, like that's a big deal for you guys that don't know. Bob Iger on your cell phone. Texting Bob Iger is insane. Y'all hit the like button on the way in, famo, for the algorithm. Thank you, Great Britain. That might be my new favorite name because the way you spelled it, that's dope. And somebody else, and my guy Tuco earlier. What's my guy's name? Tuco Salamanca. Sorry, Great Britain, for the day. Tuco Salamanca. He got you, man. But the way Great Britain spelled that name, that was dope. Top of the morning, Fade. Peace, bro. Salute to the chat. LB so wavy. LB so wavy. He turned into something else. He's making it out to be a race thing instead of what him and Monica was talking about. I mean, it does stem from race in terms of Caitlyn Clark, right? But yeah, he's making it to diversity and he's getting overly defensive instead of trying to listen to the point. But that would have been too boring anyway. That's the reason why ESPN has him there, which is what he never talked about. He can't say that, right? He can't say, yo, we can't have the WNBA on here because I mean, if it was up to me and you want that to keep, if I gotta keep you on the show, Monica, and we gotta talk WNBA, then fine, no problem. We can do that for a couple minutes. But the bosses, they don't want that. It doesn't get there's nothing driving Twitter. It's nothing driving social media. Who's gonna repost this? But now this is all being reposted. And it is a trickle down effect because then the next show starts talking about it. Pat McAfee was talking about the same topic, went nuts, had to apologize. When Maya Moore was being the Michael Jordan of the WNBA, he wasn't covering the WNBA. I mean, he wasn't. She's also not, they're not salacious like that. And I'll get into Angel Reese in a second, but she brought a different side to this as well. And it started with college, right? That's why the Magic and Bird comparisons. That's where it came from. Disney blocked the last video. Yeah, on YouTube I heard, but there's a way to get the video, man. There's a way to get that video on YouTube, Papa. Facts. I'm still not watching the WNBA because it ain't for me. I just gamble on it. I was starting a gambling show called A Gambling Spot. We need some tips, man. We need to make sure we gamble the right way because that's a problem out there. That's the new crack. 98.7 Kiss FM, correct, William. That's what it was. Remember, Michael, if you remember, Michael Baisden on Kiss FM was hilarious back in the day, like 20 years ago. He was on Kiss FM. Kiss FM was amazing. ESPN loves Monica. Stephen A. Smith is just an employee. I want to give a round of applause for my wife wearing those pants and walking in the kitchen like that. Jesus Christ. $98.7 was WBL. Right? No. WBLS was where Wendy Williams ended up being. I think 107.5. Kiss FM. Yep, Kiss FM, great brand. People act like she's LeBron. She's good, but she hasn't won a chip or nothing. That's what AllBall said yesterday. But I disagree with that. Ben Simmons came into the league with a lot of hype. Durant versus Olden came in with a lot of hype. Olden won a championship. Kevin Durant didn't win anything. Texas ain't do nothing, and Kevin Durant deserved all the hype in the world. So I disagree with that. I think you earn your air, right? Your aura. You earn that, especially in basketball. Like there's people that through word of mouth, you hear about them and they come to the park, and that's where superstardom stems from. Tall Cardio Najee, what's going on off the Twitters? She is the typical American pie metal American white girl that the conservatives can get high on. It's that simple, but everybody's ignoring the real facts on mainstream. Yeah, but also think about it like this, right? The NFL is built on that same fan base, which is why the whole Kaepernick thing, they were trying to like kill it as soon as possible. So it just is what it is. They spend money, and they know that. And they spend money, and they're online. There's a new fan base that's online. Remember, let's not get the. Hold on a second. Let me. WNBA $1 billion injection and $1 billion investment, right? It was 2 years ago. I forgot about this. The WNBA raises $75 million from investors, including Mickey and Nick Arison. Yeah, but that's not it. They had $1 billion investment. $75 million. Or they were able to be worth $1 billion. And where is it? There it goes. WNBA raises $75 million in first ever funding round, valuing the entire league and teams at $1 billion. So that was two years ago. I remember seeing that and thinking, like what's next? Right? But they didn't have a Caitlyn Clark. That was right around the time I think the NIL thing was announced. And, We'll get into that in a second with Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese. The WNBA on Thursday announced it completed a first ever capital raise, bringing in a host of big name investors like Nike, former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice. Investors include Dell Technologies, Michael Dell, who's been rich forever. Lauren Powell Jobs, philanthropist and the widow of Apple co-founder Steve Jobs. We've all seen the reports that less than 5% of all sports media coverage and less than 1% of all sponsorship dollars go to women's sports. So access to this capital when you're trying to grow a business is really going to help us move the needle. WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert said in an interview on Thursday with Squawk Box. So less than 5% of all sports media coverage and less than 1% of all sponsorship dollars goes to women's sports. That was 2 years ago. If I would love to see these numbers with Caitlyn Clark now with this season. And this is women's sports, not just basketball. WNBA's fundraising round is the latest indication of the momentum and investor attention toward women's sports at both the professional and collegiate level. It also comes roughly 3 months before the 12-team league is set to begin its 26th season in May. The league's milestone 25th season, concluded in October, saw a large jump in TV viewership, according to Disney-owned ESPN. Regular season viewership increased 49% compared with the 2020 season and 24% compared with the two. Regular season viewership increased 49% compared with the 2020 season and 24% compared with the 2019 season before the COVID pandemic. So this is kind of faulty though, because everything went down during COVID. All right, the postseason and WNBA finals both saw their highest viewership figures in years. So the pandemic affected them as well, because they're not really saying this. They're keeping it positive. Who's this young lady? Oh, that's a WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. She's been mighty quiet lately, don't you think? Where you been at, Kathy? There's a bunch of drama going on underneath your wings. So this is the key right here, though, man. Devil in the details, baby. Less than 5% of all sports media coverage and less than 1% of all sponsorship dollars go to women's sports. Incredible. And I just got a text message that Stephen A. Smith said he actually is the whole 5% and 1% that they're talking about. What a jerk that guy is, man. I'll get to a couple of comments and I'm going into some more screenshots, screen shares. He's showing his hand. He's already a corporate guy. Yeah, he's corporate, man. Definitely. Caitlyn Clark is the real Jackie Robinson. They're still not talking about the WNBA. They haven't broken down any analytics. It has all been controversy after the games off the court. Yeah, but that's how everything is. What show do you First Take ain't analytics? They're never going to be analytical. That's the whole point. That's why JJ Redick goes up there on his high horse. And then he ends up being a part of the circus. Puts the makeup on and partly becomes a clown with them. Because it's just, you can't avoid it. It's just barbershop talk. Let's not act like it's not. We do a lot of that too now. Let's not get that twisted. But there's a balance. Stephen A. Smith was trying to act like, no, not me. Not I. Liar. Monica McNutt used to be a teacher in Maryland. Yeah, now we know. Now we know more. I stopped watching WNBA after Maya Moore left because before then it was Cynthia Cooper. She's highly intelligent. An athlete, too, from Southern Maryland. He'd rather take credit than address an actual topic. Yeah, but that's how he got his money, I guess. Monica's super sharp. Love her on MSG. We've been known Steven is a fake. That's why we ousted him as a Knicks fan. We did. But WNBA doesn't even bring in ticket sales, so why would they even talk about it 3 years ago? Monica always carries herself well. Yeah, but you saw now, Electric. You trying to stay on that side, or you're gonna come over here, Papa, because the light is shining on you. You see it now. You see the numbers. I would love to see after the season ends, we're gonna see what Caitlyn Clark really did for the WNBA, and they're gonna be really mad at her. Monica played for the Hoyas. Yeah, she played with Georgetown. I knew that much. She would always talk about it when she's on online. That's his way of being relatable. Yeah, that's the problem. The audience doesn't know it because you don't tell them. True. Fabian, tell the truth. Yeah, thanks. Diamond Dallas Page, Diamond Cutter. Unk looking for a counter argument and coming up short. Stephen Hurt Ego Smith. The interaction is going to get her numbers up now. Yeah, that's what I hope. You ever heard of Monica McNutt? She should put that, if she has a podcast, she has to put that as a ringtone. You ever heard of Monica McNutt? You have now. Jordan Poole get a 2-piece and send him to the Wizards. Stephen A's too feminine. Oh, hey. But he don't mention Sage Steele. Well, so what about Sage Steele? Because I know she left with the whole political stuff, but she's a fraud to me too. I don't find her genuine. I found like she has an agenda as well. And she got her money. Let's not get that twisted. He's mad he went on a rant and wasn't even talking about what him and Monica was. Yup. ESPN said they're going to cover Angel Reese today, but let's see. Well, they're going to have to because she's going crazy. Let's talk about that in a second. Let's get into that now, as a matter of fact. Oh, there's a lot of comments there. Wow, you guys are up. We talked about that yesterday, Sports PSP. Pat McAfee. That was wild. There was like, you saw how he apologized so quickly. In real time, we were saying like, we don't know what he's doing. We didn't know what he was doing. And there was no way he wasn't going to apologize. And then I thought initially the Stephen A. Smith thing was going to overshadow him. But then all of a sudden, Jamel Hill, who comments on Stephen A. Smith right here, she was like, yo, what is this? And once you got her going, there's a whole bunch of people online that are going to go crazy because Jamel Hill is known for being a baiter herself. But she even commented on what Stephen A. Smith said yesterday because Stephen A. Smith mentioned her. And she says, Jamel Hill's response basically is, FYI, I was doing First Take before it was even called that, originally called Cold Pizza, and before Stephen A. Smith was a regular and then a permanent co-host of the show. Now, when Stephen A. Smith had his show, quite frankly, he had me on twice, I believe. It was a huge opportunity, one he did not have to extend. I'm just not sure what that has to do with the topic, but hey, it ain't my debate. But this idea of making people is odd. So she's saying what we're saying. Can't just say you make people when they work that hard, right? I made you. Why would I play you? Huh? This is still funny though. Monica McNutt's reaction. I mean, Molly Curran's reaction when Monica McNutt says this.
Stephen A., respectfully, with your platform, you could have been doing this 3 years ago if you wanted to.
Go face.
Wow. If you wanted to.
Ooh, drama for your mama. Hilarious. Jamel Hill. I got into Jamel Hill. What was I saying I want to get into? Oh, my girl, Angel Reese. She kind of went ballistic. She played a whole comment. This is Abby Martin. Abby Martin, who I didn't know who she was. I might have seen her in passing until Cameron went on her show. Let's thank Cam for that, Abby Martin. Hate to say it. Did Cam make Abby Martin? I'm just joking.
This is Angel Reese weighing in. She is the other big star right now in WNBA. Listen.
People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role. The reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too. And I want y'all to realize that.
Well, she's talking about the championship game.
Right.
A year ago.
She said more than that, though, before we move on. Angel Reese said more than that. She was saying that there were a lot of people that laid the game out, that helped lay the game for what it is today. But everyone's using that soundbite from her. I don't know if she misspoke, but there seems to be a reach. No disrespect, Angel. I gotta tell her like it is. You're a beautiful young girl, sex symbol, changing the game. The one legging is amazing, but gotta call a spade. You might not be as popping as Caitlyn Clark, right? Like she's popping for us. She's amazing, but Caitlyn Clark's just more of a draw at this point, and she's saying that during the national championship game from 2 years ago, all the drama started with her, and I'm not sure if, like, at some point you got to come out and say whether or not you think Caitlyn Clark is behind a whole bunch of this mischief, a whole bunch of this drama that's coming towards you, because you took on the villain role and then you want to act like you're Caitlyn Clark's, counterpart, you're her, if you're gonna be the villain and be her foil and be, the antagonist in her story, then you gotta act like that. You just gotta take the punch too. Like you can't just say, "Oh, well, you know what? I helped make the WNBA too." It's just like, it's true. That championship game put the women's game on another level. It put them on another level. I was watching it. It was way more. I didn't watch the men's championship. It was horrible. It was trash. The women are bringing the drama. I love it. She needs to put Caitlyn Clark in the Draymond Green chokehold and just call it a day. That's when you take the W to another level. Get suspended for a season. You come back the next season and go, "Hey, look, man, she said the wrong thing to me." But in all seriousness, does she think Caitlyn Clark is pushing that agenda for her fan base and everybody else? Because if not, you gotta leave that alone. Because you might not be her. You got to become way better. Also, she's doing her thing. She's making an impact in the WNBA, especially as an icon. At this point, Caitlyn Clark still has to work on her game. Let's not get this twisted. You're popping right now, but you're up here. You can easily dive down and falter to all this. Angel Reese is a drama queen. She knows how to handle all of this. Una chismosa. That's what your Angel Reese is. Chismosa. I love her. She created all the drama. She keeps the us interested in the game. She's the one who jumped up out of her seat when her teammate, what's her name, Kennedy Carter, banged on Caitlyn Clark. Look, I'm learning all their names now. I didn't know Kennedy Carter's name two days ago. You crazy? But Angel Reese got up and celebrated that, almost like as if she feels attacked by Caitlyn Clark's fans, literally. And I don't know if it's nothing. If it's really, I hope it's really nothing. It's all wrestling drama, but wrestling drama can be like kayfabe, and then you never know what's real or not. It's more Bob Costas, who sounds mad old.
We were both a part of.
LSU versus Iowa, and LSU prevailed. But to your earlier point, there was an incident recently. Alyssa Thomas, who happens to be African American, grabbed Angel Reese by the throat and threw her to the floor. Flagrant 2, ejected from the game. The reason why that doesn't spark as much conversation isn't just that Caitlyn Clark is a bigger star than Alyssa Thomas. It's because it's a black on black incident.
Wow.
And you don't have that dynamic that people can comment on, yes, but also exaggerate and make the entire story sometimes.
And also,
that is really that is between
no
the
one
lines.
cared about the WNBA when women of a certain color were beating up.
Oh, that's
women of
Carrie
each other. This
Champion.
has been happening since the league's inception. We have this star, this person that people love. They want to.
Yo, Carrie, you got too much makeup on, man. You're beautiful. What are you doing with all this stuff on? Get it together.
Protect her.
I don't like all that. I didn't recognize you.
The new analysts and the new people have so much to say. Bob, thank you for saying that and acknowledging that, because you're a legend in this sport. And you are also gracious enough to say, look, I'm not an expert in the WNBA, but what I do know from the history and what I do know, this is why she is being treated this way.
Yes,
and why no
because
one
I've seen it in every sport.
I mean,
a newcomer is tested and to some extent resented.
Oh, Bob Costas is breaking it down. Hold on. Listen, hold on. Now that we in the mix, this is why Bob Costas is kind of legendary to me, because he's like 5'7". Barry Bonds called him a midget. It was hilarious. Barry Bonds was crazy. He's kind of like, I wouldn't say like Peter Vesey, because Peter Vesey's Peter Vesey's out of his mind. But let's get you guys going in the morning. Where was Bob Costas all over the place now? No. You got to do Bob Costas. Come on. This is what we're going to do. This is what we got for you. Bob Costas, Vincent K. McMahon. How long is this video? 2 minutes. You crazy? Part 3. Wait a minute. Where's part? No. Start this from the beginning, man. I don't want part 3. I guess we'll have to deal with it.
Right?
It's a characterization I think few would share, but it might work for you in this instance.
It worked for me. I mean, take a look at the tape when you play it back. Right. How many times did Bob Costas interrupt Vince McMahon before he let him answer the question?
Just to try to keep you on point. Go ahead.
Sure. So, I mean, again, I think that, you know, when you look at everything that we do on balance in terms of entertainment, you stay with the storyline, Bob, okay? Our women are extremely strong. Now, I would suggest that the degradation, as you called it, of Trish, which was of her own volition, by the way. I wasn't making her do that. This is a soap opera. If you stay tuned long enough, boy, I would suggest I'm likely to get mine as far as that character is concerned, as far as the Vince McMahon character is concerned. The women involved in World Wrestling Federation, from China all the way down, are very, very strong-willed women who, generally speaking, at the end of the day in the soap opera, get what they want and then some. But you have to stay tuned, Bob. It's not fair to take one little excerpt of this and one little excerpt of that and then generalize, okay?
Let's end on this.
We have to end. I'm having fun.
We have to end. I'm enjoying it too, but Bob Knight is waiting, and he deserves his time as well.
Coach Knight.
Coach Knight is waiting. Safety of wrestlers. Not long ago, you settled a wrongful death suit with the widow of the wrestler Owen Hart. Had to pay $18 million. He was killed or died during a show in Kansas City when executing a maneuver.
Right.
Have you pulled back on the level of risk in some of these maneuvers?
As far as anything aerial, absolutely. You know, we would never attempt to do anything like we were doing with Owen again, because out of deference to Owen, if for no other reason. But yeah, I mean, again, I think that the risk factor increases, you know, with the athletes, no different as it does in all of sport, by the way, you know, and here we have the greatest entertainers in the world.
Why would they waste my time like that? I'm sorry, guys. Part 1. Yeah. Damn it. Oh, yeah, here we go. I'm sorry. I found it, guys. Your man, Vincent K. McMahon, bugging.
Can you guarantee me right now that there will be a year 2 for the XFL?
What a ridiculous statement.
It's not a statement. It's a question.
It's a question. I beg your pardon. It's a question. No.
If this turns out to be a grand scale failure.
You want to let me finish here for a second, pal? Shut your mouth and let me answer the question, all right? I'll be happy to answer. You got a situation that you don't know what you're talking about.
Vince, we got to go.
Oh, it's too bad. This is such a delightful show, Bob. And thank you so much for having me on.
I appreciate your coming on.
Oh,
thank you very much.
It's a delight.
And there is more just ahead, my friends.
Yo. A lot of people didn't like him. And I didn't even care about Bob Costas growing up, but when I saw that, I was going crazy. I like what he said about Angel Reese, but she got to be careful too. Like, just play your game. Well, let's see. Get to these comments. Sage Steele was like a dirty word because she was being underpaid and is a black woman. Oh, okay. Sage called out the forced vaxes and men playing in women's sports, so they blacklisted her. Did they? I'm not sure if they black. I know she went on other programs and would talk like crazy about ESPN too, and it's hard to do that when they pay you and if they don't want that to happen. And I know they're one-sided ESPN on the other side, but listen, man, business is business. Like Dilla Reese and Harlem Nights, I'm in charge of the girls. Snap. But that's one of the main reasons that I stopped watching Worst Take. I never really watched it. Oh, damn, now he petty. Arguing with a female basketball analyst on the WNBA is wild. It is. Maya Moore wins 5 titles in less than 10 years with the Lynx. He didn't cover it, and that couldn't get a WNBA major look. I told y'all, dude, he's a clown. Stephen A's wild and completely going rogue. Monica was on Shannon Sharp's podcast yesterday, too, with Chad Jones. Yeah, it was all right. Monica's on Get Up right before First Take. Exactly, but she's on all day. She's on MSG, all just everywhere. Which shows Skip carried him. Nah, they have a real chemistry. Like he misses Skip Bayless. They're missing that show. Matt Coleman was just there to be a punching bag on First Take. He knows boxing outside of boxing. He doesn't know too much about basketball and football. When Max Kellerman said Kawhi was better than Kobe, I was done. Like 2016? Because if that's the case, he was better than Kobe back then. But Kawhi at his peak is tough, man. Monica's a better reporter than Stephen A. So is Shannon Sharp. Hilarious. For real, he just put out the gas on the fire. AllBall TV. Share, like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification button. Wifey going to flip the table over. Shannon is probably so happy he dodged that bullet. It's about Caitlyn Clark. It's about the media and the fan base. I'm reading a couple more. Yo, Fabe, I just tuned in. Why is Stephen A messing with my girl Monica? I'm confused. Monica's a rising star. I don't think he's like messing with her. He's caught up in being wrong. Like, you're on a show where you have to argue. The point of the show is to have an argument. And he knows he found something, or he's just an argumentative person, even if he's dead wrong, and he just ran with it. He knows he's wrong, and he doesn't care because he knows he's going to get paid. And if he goes too far, he'll be suspended or whatever. And the one thing he won't do is go as far as Pat McAfee. That was just wild what Pat McAfee did. But he already knows the game. He knows what's going to happen. There's no way possible Monica McNutt is not coming back on First Take when the WNBA is about to go on for the rest of the summer. There's going to be points where they're going to say, hey, look, we're going to talk about the WNBA today, Monica. You want to come on the show? They're going to come on the show, and they're going to show all the ratings and tell her, like, that's why we're going to talk about the WNBA. It has to be about Caitlyn Clark right now. The barbershop talking is cool, but at least talk about a little bit of the game breakdown. They don't do it at all. Just let me know they don't really care about the WNBA and they're faking it for real. Yeah, and to your point, LB, Shannon Sharp is amazing at breaking down football. Like, except when he's all the charades. I hate him when he does that. When he talks about football, just you're learning. You're learning from him. And I don't even watch football anymore, but I can hear him talk football. Where is his football show? Here's a show with Chad Johnson. Do they break the game down for real? I don't watch it because I think they're both. I can't do it. But I don't want to listen to Chad talk about football. If that's the case, he should be sitting down with, like, how is Aaron Rodgers on Pat McAfee show, the biggest show out, one of the biggest shows and most popular guys out there, but you never put Shannon Sharp there with Pat McAfee. With Pat McAfee, why isn't there a Pat McAfee Shannon Sharp football show? That like you put money behind that. Why aren't they on YouTube together? They don't want that. They don't want to break the game down. They want this. They want to talk about gossip. That's all. And it is what it is, guys. If you don't know anything about Pat McAfee, because I think you're not an NFL guy these days, he's been like that. That's the reason why ESPN got him. They're not going to do anything. I was watching some of him. He's cool. He's fun. I know he started on ESPN. Then he went to Barstool. He couldn't take the original name, which was like, I think, the Pat McAfee Show. So whatever the name of his show now is, like Pat McAfee Show or whatever. So I know the business side of it, and he was farming out the audiences from both sides, from ESPN and Barstool, and then that's how he's able to come up with his own YouTube show. Similarly to JJ Redick, ESPN, he went the other route to the Ringer. He remember he had a podcast with the Ringer at first. He couldn't take that name. That's why his thing is called The Old Man and the Three. So these guys know what they're doing. JJ Redick is obviously more analytical, and I like JJ Redick. By the way, I hope you guys saw Ryan Russillo on JJ Redick podcast, and Ryan Russillo ran a clinic on him. That's my guy. Ryan Russillo might be my favorite sports NBA commentator. I just think he has a point of view, he has something to say, and he has the balls to say it. Stephen A. Smith is the most sensitive, hard-acting media personality I've ever seen. Also, remember, Steve Smith is trying to negotiate his next bag. He don't want any slander towards him. Oh, same thing with Pat McAfee, they said, right? Molly got the old, yeah, she does. Cam freestyle that he had on the show yesterday was fire. He dumped on Adidas and Anthony Edwards, the chick from CNN that tried to line him up. Caitlyn has a look. Yeah, companies like. Maybe. Let's keep it real. Caitlyn Clark is a WNBA's Larry Bird. People hated on Bird too. He brought a lot of people to the game who otherwise weren't interested. It is what it is, right or wrong. 1,000%. 1,000%. You know, but like Bob Costas said, a lot of people are saying that they're challenging her the way that they normally challenge every superstar. We've seen happen to LeBron. The biggest differences that nobody's talking about is that Caitlyn Clark doesn't seem like a fighter. She doesn't seem like she's gonna swing on you. And I heard Kenya Martin say this yesterday, that he told Blake Griffin, at some point you gotta swing back or swing first, because they're gonna keep attacking you and keep bothering you like that. And maybe Blake Griffin just isn't a fighter. He just wants to be a comedian, it seems like, right? And maybe Caitlyn Clark is just not a fighter. So it's not her personality, but at some point, what if she does hook off on somebody? She needs to hook off on somebody. That's what I would like, get suspended for 5 games. It would change things. It really would. Excuse me. Angel Reese is popping. All the celebrities are behind her. She's at the Met Gala. Caitlyn Clark just has the generic conservative fans from Middle America. Well, those generic fans got her here now. So Angel Reese has to do all that other stuff just to get popping, though. You know what I'm saying? It's easier for Caitlyn Clark to be popping. And maybe that's part of the resentment, too. I'm not a hater. I've never been a hater. And Angel Reese is kind of hating. All them girls kind of hating, man. I'm sorry. That's just what it is. Angel Reese is popping. You're not going to do the Met Gala if you're not popping. She is. I'm not saying she's not popping. She is. Like, she's about to be. She's a sex symbol, and she's about to be a fashion icon. She's on the verge of doing all that. Angel Reese is on the verge of. She's bigger than. She's outside of basketball. So I made a mistake. She is popping, man. I even go further and say Caitlyn is the Jackie Robinson of the WNBA, pertaining to jealousy. Damn. You popping if Nike gives you $29 million before you step foot on the WNBA court. Exactly. Come on now. Yo, he went on his podcast last night and blew Monica out. He's a straight cornball. Who, Shannon? Yo, I got to get ready to leave for work. Yo, going to be online later. This was a great show this morning. Thank you, Gregory Lee. The reason Pat McAfee won't want to do the show with Shannon is because he doesn't want to break that money down again. Yeah, but what if it's a new show? I'm not saying Pat McAfee show. You could it would be the biggest football show on ESPN. Shannon Sharp and Pat McAfee. How do you not lead? That's just dumb. It's obvious. Caitlyn won't swing because she's worried about her appearance. Listen, man, get over it. Seems a little off that Monica and Stephen A were going at it in front of Shannon, who is Stephen A's co-host. Then later Stephen A goes on and talks about Monica and does the same on Shannon's platform. Yeah, I thought the same thing. you know, I think what happened was she agreed to do Shannon Sharp's podcast first because Shannon wanted to talk to her. And then, you know, maybe Stephen A. Smith asked her to do the show, but she's like, "Yo, I already agreed to go to Shannon." More than likely that happened. Or Stephen A. Smith is a fool or a bigger jerk than we all think. And he just wanted to talk about her and have his own little monologue. The media is trying to control the presentation of the narrative. Stay woke. Why aren't people acknowledging that Caitlyn Clark talks a lot of trash on the court and antagonizes and taunts her opponents? She's getting what's coming to her. Because if that's the case, that's true, Mr. Chill. We all gotta chill, Mr. Chill, because that's true. But if that's the case, then she's a little weasel that is doing it the right way. Let them catch on, like, you know, do it. She's getting her money like that, man. Caitlyn Clark is a sneaky Brooklyn ninja. That's what you're saying. Caitlyn Clark is a sneaky Brooklyn ninja. By the way, I love my people from Brooklyn, my Brooklyn ninjas, right? When people from Brooklyn, they love you, it's real love. They don't hide it. You got grimy Brooklyn dudes from Brooklyn that are grimy. They just do things that are grimy. You know that they are wrong people. They do wrong. But then you got sneaky Brooklyn ninjas. These guys are the worst. Because, see, I'm from Queens, New York. This is the home of sneaky people. I just know everybody's sneaky. But the Brooklyn sneaky dudes are different. They're like Caitlyn Clark, Mr. Chill. Nobody sees what's going on, but everybody sees what's going on. And you just think, like, what's going on here? And they got everybody fooled. Mr. Chill, thanks to you, we are going to have to nominate Caitlyn Clark as a sneaky Brooklyn ninja. Must be done. Anything else I want to talk to you guys about? I guess we'll do Knicks stuff later. I'm from Queens. I stand on business. Queens Village area ain't no sneaky activity with me. I'm sorry, LB Wavy, but there's a lot of sneaky people from Queens. I grew up with them. I appreciate you though, because you show a lot of love and you don't sound sneaky on here. All our comments don't sound sneaky. Only the biggest haters come in like, "Oh, you clickbaiting." They all crying. Anyway, big Queens, big Brooklyn, big New York, big Monica McNutt. Y'all weren't in here talking about she McNutted on Stephen A's. Y'all crazy. Yo, man, Fabian Perspect, making it connect. AllBall TV, man. We out of here. Have a good day. Head on a swivel, like I told my daughter every morning. And just think about that. Think about what I said earlier about Stephen A. Smith. Anybody that talks about other people in that manner, right? And they come to you and they're talking about other people in that manner. They're talking about you the same way. Just be careful what you say around others. Very careful who you associate with. Be very careful who you go about life. But also enjoy your day. Love today. I need a Jim Rome quote. Either you run the day or the day runs you. Either you run the day or the day runs you. We'll leave it at that. AllBall TV. AllBall TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.